What's causing all this? Woo!
Put Scooter on the phone, you bird brain.
What do you do, backflips? You jump up there in a silly suit? What do you do?
You go BAM! I want you to play that.
All right, we are ready to go. Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome to another exciting episode of Fast Freddie Rocks Youngstown, coming to you from the state-of-the-art Youngstown studios here in beautiful downtown Youngstown. And we have a full house here today because we're getting you ready for the big outdoor hunting and fishing super show and sale brought to you by Fish and Field Report. That's coming to the Canfield Fairgrounds this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And with me, Rick Henniger from Fish and Field Report, Nathan D. Jacoby, hunter and fisherman, Tyler Woak, another fisherman. We got Jason here, and we've got walleye champ Sammy Capelli, who's also a great hunter as well. And we are here today to talk about hunting and fishing. So first off, Rick, why don't you tell us what we got going on here with the show?
We got the show going on. I got Jason Henniger, my son, who does the floor plan and everything out there. And Sammy and my wife Judy take care of all the seminars and everything that goes on there. And then these two bums over here, they're the ones out doing all the fishing and hunting.
Somebody's got to be out there doing it, right? Somebody actually got to be out there.
Boots on the ground.
They have
Boots on the ground.
They have been amazing the last week of what these guys have accomplished. He killed a 160 class buck.
Get those horns, man.
And then they went, we'll grab horns.
Yeah.
He got a 160 class buck. They went up to Lake Erie and fished 3 days and just slammed the big hog walleyes. So these guys have got it going on.
Look at that.
Sammy's been was up at the islands.
Here, hold those up there, Nathan. Let them see that.
Wow.
Now tell them what happened to the horns.
Wow. I shot them and they fell off right after I shot them.
Impressive. Oh boy.
What a buck.
What a buck. Beautiful buck.
It's a way to stick it out in that cold weather, man. I mean,
yeah,
it's tough to
-6
be out
degrees
there.
that night.
Yeah.
They like the movie. They like
Nate's been chasing that buck for 3 years now.
Yep, 3 seasons.
Wow.
and they eat
Showed up
during the
in
winter. and it's cold
2022
outside.
and
People
been
don't
chasing
realize
ever
how much-
since.
Needed one more day, man, and he would have been a doe.
Oh yeah, one more day and he would have lost his horns and made it till next year.
You know, and people don't realize because they don't see them, but the deer feed a lot in this cold weather during
yeah.
the day. They're
Oh, yeah.
out eating.
They have
They
to.
need, yeah, they have
They
to. That's
gotta
right.
eat.
Stay warm.
They gotta feed. They just don't go out in the field and do it like they do in the evening. You know.
So
But what about the walleye that I want to? We got these new equipment and everything.
Ricky's fired up. Ricky needs a graph is what he needs.
Hey,
He needs the
tell them
live
about the
scope.
one. Tell them the one that bit the hook, and you guys reeled it up.
Well,
with
first of all, explain what
Yeah,
the equipment is.
We
Live
use
scope. live
live scope, active target. Sammy uses active target. We use Garmin live scope. It's forward facing sonar. And it's really nice for Erie because as I was talking to Rick and Tony, they always told me, man, it's hard to mark your baits with that much current up there in between the islands. And your flasher only gives you a cone straight down. When you could use that wide angle beam on your forward facing sonar, you could shoot it out to 60 to 70 feet. But we were running at about 10 to 15 feet. So we were working fish from 15 feet outside of our shack before. And
Yeah, and we also noticed the current was moving so strong. Our baits were 6-7 feet away from our holes.
our baits were so far away from the hole that I don't know how you'd ever mark it with a flasher.
Yeah.
And we were getting them on a lot smaller baits, and that seemed like that was everybody was saying it was tough, and they weren't getting them, and they were getting a lot of followers without eating. But I think downsizing, we were able to downsize because we could mark the baits from far away. I think.
Yeah, and
So,
a lot of
how
guys
deep of water were you guys fishing?
33 feet.
And how far over do you think your baits were? You could tell on
They
there,
were 6 to
6 to
7
7.
feet
6 to 7 feet away from the hole.
and
Yeah.
30 feet of
Wow.
water.
And I'd say a
The
flasher,
circumference of the
Yeah.
hole. Yeah.
Yeah.
a flasher, you're lucky to get like a 3 feet
Right.
circumference.
Yeah,
at
you never
best.
do what we
So,
do with active.
Yeah.
I would say forward facing sonar up there, if you're going to work some serious fish, is almost necessary now. I don't know how
Yeah.
you feel about it, Sammy. but
Yeah, I mean, did you have
They're
fish on your
here.
graph all the time, or?
it's
Most of the day.
most of the
So-
day.
So we only caught 9 that day and we lost 4, but we were just sitting there and we wouldn't even jig our rods. They'd be down at the bottom with a shiver minnow or a jigging wrap or whatever.
Yeah,
Swedish
just
Temple.
dead
They're
in
just
the
sitting
hole.
there, and when
Dead in
they're
the hole.
sipping on some bourbon or something, and and we're not even fishing. And I told the guys, I'm like, we're not even fishing until we see a fish come on the screen.
Yeah,
If fish comes on the screen, 90% of the time, we start jigging, 90% of the time we catch it. Because you can see exactly how it's reacting. Like you start picking a jig off the bottom. I got a cool video. I put it on Facebook. It's on Pro Walleye, but the fish chases it up and he misses it and he circles back around. And all I did was drop it to the bottom. He picks it up. It's a 9-pounder, 9.5 pounder.
Now, is
And
that
you-
the current that does that? That makes it move like that?
No, I mean, it's just a fish chasing them. I mean,
don't even do it
they're
yourself.
just, it's just a reaction. I thought it was a reaction bite, but you got minnows on it. And we had the same problem where you guys lost a big fish. We
I've
lost
caught more fish on Lake Erie fishing dead in the hole with a lure.
Yeah.
But
you're fishing blind.
Yeah.
Now you're not fishing blind.
Yeah, right.
All day you're like this,
Yeah, right.
hours and hours. Now we're like, oh, here comes one, pump it 3 times to catch it.
Yeah. So what a lot of people might not understand, or that are just new to the fishing and tuning in,
Yeah.
is, these are almost like you're catching fish playing a video game.
Right.
You have this screen and you can see the bait come down. You can see when the fish come around.
And you can
And-
see how they're acting. Like Sammy was saying, me and Nate, our second day was pretty tough. The current switched up on us and they just weren't acting the same. And you could see how they were coming in, and me and him would look at each other and just know that fish wasn't going to bite.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, when I had my 28-incher come in, it came in with a whole different attitude, a lot higher, stayed up higher.
Yeah, it actually
And-
missed my bait. And then
and-
when it spun around, it seen his, and
And
we
just
could see it
crushed it.
shoot straight over across
Yeah.
the screen to his.
And it's just, you could tell out of probably the 50 or 60 fish we marked that day, we only caught 6 fish.
Yeah.
And it just seemed like that was just, you could tell the attitudes on those 6 we caught were totally different.
Yeah, that's pretty wild. So what was your final take for you were up there for what, 3 days?
Yeah. We have, how many keepers do we have?
We put 30 walleye on the ice.
30 walleye on the ice in 3 days. And we had a 28-incher and a 29-incher.
That's
And we
good.
lost a bunch of
We
fish.
lost. That's another thing we noticed on day one. We lost about 8 fish, and that night in the hotel room, I made up a couple stinger hooks. And
So what you're saying,
we quit losing
come
fish
to
after
the
that.
show, and these guys will teach you how to
Well,
catch fish.
Actually, at the show, I'm going to have my boat there,
Yeah.
but I'm going to have my shuttle. It's made by Summit with my graph and everything on there. And I got a bunch of video from this past
We
Saturday
need that,
Oh,
Sammy.
of
Yeah,
us catching fish and jigging.
Yes, they want to
So-
see this stuff,
Yep,
Sammy.
yep.
You get to see this live action.
Oh, yeah.
From just a week or so ago, and he'll have it there at the show. You
Yep.
walk in the show and he'll say, "Let me show you this locator and how it
By the
works."
time you leave there, you will know how to
And
catch
actually, too, if we were using a Vexlar, Nate on his big one, I'll let him finish the story, but he hooked it for about 7 seconds. And
Yeah, we
We had-
actually had it on video. I hooked a fish for 6 or 7 seconds, and it came off, and we could see it on live scope swim back down and start swimming in circles looking for my bait. And
he just
I
opened his bell back up
opened the bell back up, dropped down to it, and it came right back up and
Yeah.
crushed it.
again. And
20
and if you would have been using a flasher, you would have just
It's
never
unbelievable, man.
even thought to.
You would either
Right.
thought it was maybe a different,
different
fish,
fish.
or
Yep.
You would have never thought it was the same fish that was down there.
or thought to drop back
And
down
the
and try
thing
to
was,
work
it swam 5 feet away and was circling around looking for it. And it's like I
If-
could barely see it on my graph, and I was like, I think he's still looking for it, and he couldn't even believe it. And he just opens his
Yeah.
bell back up, and sure enough, it just came straight up, just like Sammy showed on that last one.
Yep.
And that's how they eat when they want it. They want
They
it.
want it. Yep.
But
You can't stop them if they
no,
want to.
that's the thing. If there's, that's what else. Like I learned, it's the ones that want to eat. You will not mess them up.
That's
up
like a
there, no
buck.
matter what.
If you got a buck that's in a rut and he wants to breed a doe, you're not going to stop him from going over there
Right.
and breeding that doe.
No, don't even try.
Don't even try.
Because you will get hurt.
I think
So-
Nate's been in the line of that a few times. He
Yeah.
told me.
You know what I
I think
mean?
he got in the middle of it.
It's just the way it goes. And that's same with
So,
fishing.
I mean, forward facing sonar, like fishing National Walleye Tour. So we're allowed, for the trollers, you're allowed 2 rods each. So you're pulling 4 crankbaits through the water. Okay.
Yeah.
And that bait might be in front of that fish, even though you're in a school of them, that bait's in front of that fish for maybe a split second. So that fish has to decide right then and there.
whether he
Am I
wants to
gonna
eat
eat it or not?
Yeah.
With forward facing sonar, we stand on the front of the boat and we don't even cast until we find a fish that we want to catch. And you just keep dropping that jig in front of their face. And even if they're not hungry, you're just going to they're either going to piss them off and they're going to eat it, or if there's a bunch of fish with them, you're going to create like a feeding frenzy.
Yeah, they're going to be competitive
Yeah,
with each
and they're
other.
going to attack that bait.
Yeah.
So You will outfish the trollers. I mean, some of these guys fishing Lake Erie, they don't even get kicker motors on their boat anymore because they're done trolling. Forward facing sonar, I could go out and catch 50 fish a day, jigging them on forward facing sonar.
They're an aggressive fish, correct? Now they'll bite, just like you said, when they get angry, they'll come out there, whether they're hungry or not.
Well, that's all they do is swim and eat, man, and spawn once a year, right?
Yeah, I think I really,
Yeah.
even just Erie smallmouth, I noticed, I mean, you bycatch probably 2 or 3 limits of walleyes just drop shotting for smallmouth in between. I mean, and we see them on forward facing sonar all the time. And I think
You
it's
see 'em,
really
see 'em
changing how guys are going to fish
When
for
you're
walleyes
on
up
Oh,
there.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's more
I
fun.
catch
I mean,
them.
I love catching them on a
Yeah.
spinning reel. I know he does too.
Oh,
I
I
know.
do too. Yeah, definitely.
That's why I say you guys got to come up in April.
Yeah, that's
April
what,
12th, we got a tournament up there. We'll be pre-fishing all week. Show you how to catch them. And we were watching that video, and I had my graphs. I kept playing with them, trying to dial it in with the contrast and all that. And the one fish I hooked, a real big one, was rounding up, and I could see like stuff falling. And when we got it in, she was starting to drop eggs. I think
she's spitting
coming
eggs.
up, and you could see it on the graph, the eggs coming out of her.
yeah, our
It was
fish
amazing.
I was really surprised how close our fish were to wanting to spawn, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
That's going to happen in a couple weeks.
I
Right?
think they're ready to go.
Yeah.
They're about as pre-spawn as they
There's
can
a
get
lot
right
of
now.
fish that spawn before the ice even goes off.
Yeah.
Especially
Well,
in Canada. When I had my place in Quebec, them biologists up there told me, Rick, this would be I'd be up there in the wintertime ice fishing. And they're telling me the walleyes are spawning right now. Ice would be this thick.
No.
I said,
We
they're
look at 'em
spawning
like-
now.
And you know what's crazy too about all this new equipment? Do you sometimes wonder how did we even catch
Yeah,
fish
right.
before this?
It's
you know that you
amazing.
would
It's
go,
amazing.
that you would go out there and drill a hole somewhere and just
Right.
sit there and go, well, maybe
Yeah.
there's a fish in there.
But we learned how to fish contours and spots.
Yes,
We had like a
yes.
mosquito with spots on spots. So imagine you guys taking all that knowledge you had for all these years and learning forward facing sonar. I mean, the young kids are kicking our butts on it because they grew up playing video games.
Yeah,
These-
yes.
I had Atari. These guys had the great games,
Yeah, right.
These
But
guys-
we got all that knowledge of
You
where
know-
we used to fish and
you
find
know,
fish without that
the
stuff.
big- the
Imagine
big-
what you would do with it now if you learned
Oh, right.
forward facing sonar.
The biggest thing that we had when it come to technology when we were kids was the thing that really ratcheted the world was a transistor radio.
Yeah.
That was a big deal. Now look at these guys.
Is that?
A transistor.
Oh, yeah.
That was our big deal, right, Fred?
Right.
And
You got a
wow,
transistor
look at this.
radio. Yeah.
Wow.
And our
Yeah.
our graph
Tune
was a
in-
flasher.
Tune in
You
Boots
remember?
Bell and
Yeah,
get some
yeah.
static on the radio, and that was
Turn
it.
radio.
3
Wow.
TV channels,
Look at
black
this.
and white.
Now,
It's just amazing too. Me, Nathan, and Nick were talking the other day. You could be 30 feet from a school of crappies or something, and you would never know the flasher. You could be 30 feet from limiting out or not catching a fish
Yes.
all day long.
yes.
Oh,
They could
absolutely.
be that close, and it's I don't know.
Now
how
you
many
can just
times-
follow the
The
school
first
around
few
and catch all
times-
you want, right?
Yeah.
The first few times on the ice this year, we got out to Mosquito and we drilled a few holes, weren't catching them.
You
And
guys.
I panned around with Panoptics and
They
60
were just
feet
a-
away, we
You
seen
guys
a
had them
school of crappie
You
and
guys had that
we
picture
moved
on
and
there.
we put 60 crappies on the ice
Did
in
they
an hour and a
fade her?
half.
Listen, you guys
Oh,
had
yeah.
that photo that you guys I seen. Okay, you had all them copies laying on the ice.
Yep.
Beautiful. You know what I mean? And then we're
Yeah.
caught with the forward.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So back in the day, how we would have done it. Rick, you go over here and drill 10 holes. I'll go over here.
Yes.
And
You've
try
done
to
it a
find.
lot.
These cats put a transducer down
We've
now.
done it
They
a
you
lot
put
of
it and you
times.
scan
Yes,
out
sir.
100 feet and be like,
We've
there they are
done
over
it
there,
a
Rick.
lot of times.
That was before the pools start gas powered.
We didn't have that, man. We
drilling.
Get a cranker.
Do it. Jason, go over there.
It's amazing on how fishing is just taking off like this.
And a lot of guys say it's going to ruin fishing. It's not. It's going
It's
to
not.
revolutionize fishing.
You know what?
It's going to
Because,
make it better.
and that's one
I'm
thing.
walking out a mile the other day in that freezing cold weather. I wasn't going out there with a flasher. They made up our mind. We're done with that.
Hey. Listen, it's going to make fishing better. And the more people that will fish, if people catch fish, they'll fish. I don't care who they are. So we want them catching fish.
Well, that's what it's all about. They come out with a new bait. Everybody wants a new bait. because it puts fish in the boat.
That's right.
Your most important part of your boat, your equipment is your graph. You spend all this money on it, you got to learn your graphs, and that's what I did the last couple of years trying to catch up with these guys, man. But they're way
Well, you
ahead
know
of
what?
me.
That's the most important thing too. Maybe some people are tuning in tonight that maybe have some kids or they don't really know how to get started. That is the most important thing you want to do. And I did that with Tyler, and you get that
Yeah.
from Ricky and everybody. When you have a little kid, you got to take them where they can catch fish.
Tyler was a-
Ty, he's
I
a
was
little bit
knee-high to a
different.
grasshopper. We took him fishing, and he caught fish, but he loved the fish.
Yep.
I knew
To
how to
begin
catch
with.
fish before I knew how to swim. I mean, literally. I
You know,
didn't
but
really-
that is, if you're just watching this and maybe you're thinking about fishing, you're not an outdoorsman like these guys or whatever, that is probably the number one tip is you got to go somewhere. I don't care if these kids are catching little tiny bluegill.
They
If they're
love it.
doing that
They'll
all
like it.
day,
They'll do
that's
it.
what they're going to do. If you take them out there, they get the pole tangled up, they
Yeah.
don't catch anything, they're not going to want to go back
It ain't
again.
fun too,
And at
exciting.
least with the forward-facing sonar, it gives them something to engage with and look at, and it's not just staring at the end of your pole.
I want to send a hello to Yvonne Rentz,
Absolutely.
who's tuned in to us tonight. She's from Washington, D.C., watching us. And then we got some other ones. We got Lenny Woak and John Gall and
Thad Shelton, the River
yeah,
Rat,
the
is
River
tuning
Rat's
in.
on here.
And
So,
our
we
buddy
love
Jay
having
Bird.
them.
So it's good to have everybody tuned in. And once again, the reason we've got this assembly of outdoorsmen here is we want to get everybody ready for this weekend at the Canfield Fairground. We got the annual Fish and Field Report Hunting and Fishing Expo. We're going to have a lot of seminars. You're going to be, hey, John Gribble's checking in too. Hey, John.
Hey, John, what's happening?
John, another one of our Lake Erie guys out there. And, John will be there and hooking you up with some great charters as
yeah.
always. And
We got some stars coming in. It's Sammy, one of the best walleye fishermen in the world. He's going to be a Hall of Famer if he isn't already. And who we got coming, Sam?
Ted Takasaki, him and I have been teamed up for the last couple of years on the National Walleye Tour. And we just became really good friends. I mean, I remember when I was a little kid,
all the time on TV.
little kid and watching him on TV, and it was, I couldn't wait to meet him, and we just hit it off, became great friends. So I told Rick, I'm like, talk to Rick and Judy. I'm like, well, let's try to get Ted here for the show.
You did it too.
And he's coming, so he'll be there Friday, Saturday,
He's
and
booked
Sunday.
up for the season, but old Sammy
Yeah.
come through and got him there.
Yeah, he's
Men.
Ted's a legend. He's a Hall of Famer, and I mean, he's just a really cool guy to talk to. He got so many stories, and he was one of us to start it
You can
before we
catch
had
him.
all this new technology.
Yeah.
But come out and talk to him. He's real approachable. He'll be around, with me at my boat and stuff. And we're going to do seminars, I think, Saturday at noon and Sunday at noon.
We got the big hunters coming in too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
the Wetzel brothers.
The Wetzel brothers. They are
Fabulous boys.
legendary
Whitetail.
whitetail deer hunters, and they hunt everything else too. But
I got the seminar schedule if you want me to announce it.
Yeah,
later.
yeah.
yeah, why don't you, Sammy? You got it. You made it up. You and Judy.
So Friday at 1:00, Smokey, the Coyote Man, he's going to be on. And then 2 p.m. is Aaron Platt with Muskie Fishing. That's his Friday now.
Yeah.
3 o'clock to 4 o'clock is Barry and Gene Wenzel, legendary deer hunters. And 4 o'clock is Dan Elko. He's the crappie fisherman. And then 5 o'clock is turkey hunting techniques.
Okay. Then what about
Saturday is going to be Dan Elko, crappie tournament at 11. And then Ted Takasaki and myself will be doing walleye fishing, just talking to everybody from, I think we're going from 12 to 1:30. Then 2 o'clock is Smokey, the Coyote Man.
Smokey McNicholas
Yep.
from the hills of West
And
Virginia.
then 3
He's a
o'clock is going to
character.
be Barry and Gene Wenzel again. And then the Muskie Fisherman at 4. So, I mean, we got a full day. I mean,
You
there's
guys
a
got-
ton of,
we got
ton
two
of
stages
seminars.
now.
Yeah,
You
we
got to
got two-
understand. We got two stages.
yeah,
now.
there's a,
You know,
there's a ton of
and
guys.
when you show up, these guys will be hanging out. I'm sure Ty will be there, Nate will be there, and everybody will be everybody be hanging out here and there, and
Yep.
you know, so
Oh, yes.
But-
Ty,
you just got booked, Ty. Sorry about that.
we're gonna do something on the stage. Hey, promise me. Bring him.
Should bring us some video if you got video of Fort Facial Sonar, man.
Yeah,
You
bring
know?
some video with.
That'd be sweet. You guys are great on that, man.
Yeah, they were really birds on that stuff. They got right with it. I
Nate was
remember
one
the
of the
first
first
night.
people that
I
actually
never
had it
forget
around
the
here.
first night he used it. He called me at home. He says, "Rick, you got to see this thing. You got to." We were up under the causeway at Mosquito. We're seeing all these fish swimming around on this thing. I threw a jig in, and I seen the fish swim and grab it,
Oh yeah.
and they were 30 feet away.
Yep. I followed a fish for 4 minutes and 52 seconds. Naples timed me. I said, Naples, this is a big fish, and we were pre-fishing, so I kept chasing it down. I had my trolling motor on 9, was following for 4 minutes and 52 seconds, and finally caught it. It was 22 inches, but it weighed 6.5 pounds.
Jeez.
She still had her eggs in her, and that was
Yeah.
a June fish.
Wow.
So we put her in a live well for a little bit, and she started loosening up her eggs, so we let her go. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's amazing what you could do.
You guys are something else.
But I will have my
We got some people coming to this show that are fantastic at what they do.
Yep.
I mean, they're professionals and some amateur, and I mean, we got some guys that know what they're doing. You killing that buck this weekend is amazing.
Yeah, that's
I mean,
that's
Nate
incredible.
had a hard week to top. 29-inch.
8-pound walleye through the
Yeah,
ice,
yeah,
like
that's what-
160
I,
inch.
you
I,
guys- I
I
thought you
hope he
guys-
didn't burn up all
I
his
thought you
luck
guys were
in one
bass
week.
guys. What are you doing fishing for walleye, anyways?
I knew
Huh?
it was going to come up.
We had to do something to pass the time.
We got tired of catching all those crappie.
Yeah, we got
Yeah,
tired. We needed
you
something
guys
to
did a
hold
good
on.
job, fishing.
Hey, I got one more thing. I got my tournament boat from last year. It's a 2022 Vexus DBX 22. It's up for sale. So if anybody's in the market for a rigged out walleye boat, some perfect condition,
I'm gonna tell you,
I'll make
these
someone
boats
a
have been
great
taken
deal.
care of like
That
you
big
never
garage
believed.
too. Garage kept, right?
That's right.
I
Yeah.
mean, they're
Yeah.
taken care of like you wouldn't.
Yeah, it had a wrap on it for both seasons, so there's not a mark on it, and I'll make someone a heck of a deal because I got a new one coming.
Oh, that's awesome. And where's your website and your Facebook page? Where can they
So
find you?
Sammy Capelli Fishing is what I'm trying to build that back up because for some reason it's all on Sammy Capelli. So I'm trying to steer everybody over to Sammy Capelli Fishing, and then Pro Walleye. We got 53,000 members on there. John Gall and I started that site, and John puts all kind of information on there. We try to put as much as we could. We do a lot of raffles. We do giveaways at least once a month. We got a couple raffles coming up here, this month, and it's a great place to go. Like I said, we're hoping to hit that 60,000 mark here by spring.
That's impressive.
Yeah, it's pretty good. We've been doing pretty good. I think we had 1.5 million views last month on our site. So,
Yeah, here's a question here from Jaybird. A lot of people, you see this on a lot of these Facebook pages, and then a lot of people give smart ass answers. They'll ask like, "What about this? What about that?"
Yeah.
Okay, what about some info on some of the local lakes? We're mosquitoes.
Got a lot of ice.
Okay, so
Yeah, we'll have this is
6
probably
to
the
8
best
inches
ice.
on mosquito last night.
I would say even there's probably we drilled a couple spots. It was 9
Yeah.
on mosquito
Okay, here you
too.
go.
Yeah.
It's good strong ice. We'll have it all the way through February, I would think, with
Yeah.
the nights. I know it's going to warm up a little bit, but those nighttime temps are still in the mid-20s.
Yeah, I
so
was out last
it'll
night.
probably be locked up
I
till
was out last
till
night
end of
checking
February.
guys coming off the
Yeah, our
We
ice
got a lot
isn't
of
going anywhere anytime
It's
soon.
the best ice we've had in about 10 years.
So-
I would say it was be strong enough to support a car, but
I think we still got
I think we all kind of know that's not the case.
we still got that one out there in mosquito.
If anybody knows anybody with a wench, if anybody has a wench in Trumbull County,
Just
I get
remember- Let's remember this, guys and gals. There's no such thing as safe ice.
right.
Yeah, if
gotta
you want
be
to tell
aware all
Sammy,
the time.
Sammy was just out of Catawba off the mainland, and he said that the ice was pretty variable where he was at. So-
Yeah, I did when we were out there Saturday, we come off the ice, and Toledo News was there, Channel 11, and they interviewed me and asked me about the ice, and we showed them the fish and all that. And they're like, any safety tips? I'm like, yeah, tomorrow it's going to blow out of the south. There's cracks all over out
Yeah,
there.
open up.
Stay off the ice because there's open water out north. And I
Yeah,
think
that'll
50
open
guys
up the
got stuck
cracks.
out there Saturday
Yeah.
or Sunday.
If you where me and Nate went is we flew in off Catawba into Put-in Bay, and the islands tend to lock in, and you don't really get that south wind because the islands pretty much block it. So there's a nice chunk of ice out there. I mean, we're on what, 11 to
12 inches.
12 inches of ice. Everybody's running machines. They said they've been running them since the first week of January. And if you really want to get on Erie ice, that's I think your
That's
best
your
bet.
safest bet.
Your safest bet.
Mhm.
You can fly your gear out. You can book a guide. There's hotels open. There's shuttle services, but it's not
the
a
way to
bad
do
deal.
it.
It's,
So how
it's a
about-
lot safer between the islands.
So what's been going on at like Pyme, Shenango? Anything going on?
Okay, here you go. Shenango,
Here it is.
they're catching fish, but they're catching a lot of small fish this year. Tony and them and Ty and them guys were over there and that. So it's been a mixed bag over there. Not real. Pyme, same thing. There's one day you go out there and you get on some pretty decent crappies and you'll catch a good meal in that. But it's scattered.
Yeah, it's real
Scattered.
sporadic. Our best fishing so far was between the islands on Erie on the ice so far this
And
year.
as far as local lakes, Mosquito has probably
Probably
been the
been the
best
best.
I
producing
think
lake for
Mosquito's
us.
been the best, hasn't it?
There's been a-
it's on an upswing this year.
A lot of crappie and a lot of perch in the lake. right
And
now.
nice bluegills.
Yeah,
Yeah,
a
now
lot
the
of
last couple
bluegills
years
got
we
caught.
were having great luck at Shenango. Shenango was really hot the last couple
I knew
years.
Shenango
Yeah,
was.
it's
I
been,
knew Shenango was going to be tough this year when we were crappie fishing over there this past summer. I could tell what we're going to have in the fall and winter by what I catch in the summer.
I think
We were catching a lot of
Shenango's
small
on a
fish.
tough spawn. I think last year it was a weird spawn with that warm water. It got real warm real early, and I think they might have pushed up and spawned a little too early, and it was just a weird year last year. And it's but at the same time, I mean, it's been really cold and really weird. So we'll see
We
what
have
happens
these winters
with
like
this
this.
warm.
We usually have pretty good walleye spawns, don't we, Sammy?
Yeah,
On Lake Erie.
I think it more depends, like in the spring on the wind. They claim that if you got big blows for, right during the peak of the spawn, that it blows the eggs off the reefs and stuff.
Uh-huh.
So I think that's what hurts them. But last year, I think it was a little bit less than average on the spawn. But the last few years, they've been really good.
The average is so good.
Yeah, there's so many fish in there. But
I mean, our average fish was 20. We caught a lot of
I'd
20,
say 18 to 20 inches was
22s
our average
too.
fish.
Man, there's a lot of
That's
22s there right
20
now.
inch Fish, that's wonderful.
Oh man,
Oh,
the
yeah,
fillets
wonderful
off those are
eaters.
huge.
Yeah.
Perfect eaters.
Nice.
They're nice.
I was freezing those up yesterday, and I got to tell you,
Yeah,
I was
our
just
2
thinking about it. I
$8-pounders
might as
look
well
like
just hook up the
steaks.
fryer. Why am I even doing this? But I'm kind of watching my diet, and I know once I start frying them, I'm going to eat them all myself.
Oh, they're so good.
so good.
Yeah.
Especially these two. They were so clean, and that meat was so white. Oh,
Nice and
Oh.
hard fish.
Yeah.
Sure,
Yeah, some of those fish, I'm sure, haven't seen baits in a really long time at this point of the winter
I eat
too.
them cold too. I eat them cold.
Oh, yeah,
All
yeah,
day
Me
long.
too, all night long.
yeah. I tell you, Christmas we fried up a whole bunch of crappies. Man, they come out really
Really
good.
good.
Oh, we must have did 4 bags.
Yeah.
And I never know how much to make, but we never have any left, no matter what. You know
No
what?
matter what
I
you
mean,
buy, you're gonna eat.
right.
You're
I
gonna
sit there and go, do you think 4 bags is enough? And we're looking and go, boy, that's a lot of fish there.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, it's like the next day I'm looking for some leftovers. I'm going, isn't there a couple here left? And and they're usually all gone, man.
They eat 'em up.
But that's really great. So how about the perch situation? Remember when perch used to be really big?
Oh,
Is it
yeah.
making a comeback, or what's the deal
Our
with
perch
perch?
situation on Lake Erie is a big limbo thing. We don't know what's going on. The Division of Wildlife Biologists keep saying, well, we just got to keep watching and waiting and see if we can get to, all it would take would be 2 good hatches 2 years in a row. That's
Well,
what
they got
tell
one
me.
this year, I think. The perch hatch was above average.
Yeah, it was above
Yeah,
that. So
so-
if we can get one more to go coincide with that, we might get our perch fishing back.
I know
Well, I
Kyle
missed that.
Bay's been really good this year for perch through the ice
I was
too.
wondering about the smelt. When are they ever going to come back?
I miss catching
Oh
them.
my God.
What do I miss catching them?
Oh, they're melting your mouth.
Hey,
I saw some people on Conneaut Harbor for the first time in a
Oh, wow.
really long time. I haven't
how
seen
many
too many.
was on there?
There was quite a few shacks out there steelhead fishing, so I haven't
A lot
seen
of
people
people
out
smelt
there in
fishing,
a
too.
long time. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they were getting
Well, I
smelled
got a
out
lot of
there.
smell on that lake.
Jesus, God, remember we
Well, I'd
saw
love
there.
them smell to come in there.
Well, that'd be fun through the ice on active target or forward faces.
That's
down.
what me and him were just saying.
that's
You
what
imagine
I'm saying.
digging
I
one
got
of those in?
What's that?
A steelhead through the
Oh,
ice?
I've caught them through the ice. I've caught them.
Yeah,
It's gotta
I
be a
mean,
blast.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah. That's
catching
fun as hell.
those mid 20
We
inches.
go out there,
too,
me
on
and
those
Tony go out
rods.
there, we wouldn't have anything heavier than 4-pound test line on. And what's fun about it is you got one on there swimming, and you could see them right below the ice swimming all over, in the bay there. It's fun.
Okay, we got one of our callers, one of our guests that's going to be at the show here this weekend is on the line with us now.
Who do we have?
Hi, who do we have with us?
This is Barry Wenzel from Iowa.
Hey,
I'm
Barry,
looking
how you
forward to-
doing? One of the best. Hey, Barry
I'm
Wenzel
good.
is
I'm
one
good.
of the
We're,
best.
we're looking forward to what's that?
I said, I introducing you. Barry Wenzel's one of the best whitetail hunters United States has ever seen. He's killed some tremendous bucks, and he's wrote some very good books and articles. What's happening, Barry? We're looking forward to seeing you.
Well, the whole idea. I'm 80 years old, and my brother. I got an identical twin brother. He's going to be at the show as well, and we're both 80, and we have hunted whitetails. Have been our passion our whole lives, and we've been very successful at some monster bucks. And seems like that we do things a little different than a lot of people. And at our age, I figure it's time to go ahead and share some of our secrets, et cetera. So that's the intent right there.
We've been waiting.
That's great. That's very, very good.
Great. That's awesome.
Yeah, we can't wait to hear you.
Great.
So now, Barry, where are you based out of?
I live in South Central Iowa. My brother lives in Western Montana. We both lived in Montana for 30 years, and I've been in Iowa now for 25. And the only reason I've lived where I have is to pursue giant whitetails. And I'm a purist, and I am a purist bow hunter. I hunt only with a traditional recurve bow. I don't even own a shotgun or a muzzle loader. But I tell people, if I can do it with a recurve, anybody can do it, however they want, type of thing. So as I said, it's been some secrets that we've learned over the years that it's time to help the kids, the adults as well too, but hopefully the adults will teach the kids and, go from there.
So all these years you've been a bow hunter this whole time.
Yes, sir. I hunt with the bow during the gun seasons. I can't even remember the last deer I killed with a firearm. I don't even remember. 60, 70 years ago. But anyway, yeah. I enjoy the close encounters, etc. I've killed. Not bragging, but just to show our techniques work. I've killed 4 Boone and Crockett class whitetails, all free ranging and all with a recurve and all at under 15 yards. That's the thing. And Gene's done just as well. So again, I want to share.
What about that? What about that 200 class? What about that 200 class whitetail you got with a recurve? They say that's the largest one. That's the largest one ever killed. They say there's none that they can match with.
No, my brother's actually.
Is your brother's bigger?
What was it? Gene's. He got a non-typical that measured 233. My biggest was 219. But that again, back. It's as I said, those are in the old days. We've got some just it's a combination of technique and where we hunt and how we do it, etc. So as I said, it's time to share. It's when you get a fully mature whitetail, anything over 5.5 years old, each season they get smarter and smarter, and they slow down. I call them slow walkers. Every move they make is a calculated move, etc. And you almost have those big trophy bucks. You almost have to hunt as a separate species. I mean, I've always said you got deer hunters, you got buck hunters, and you got trophy buck hunters. And I could care less what the next guy does, but I only have a limited number of tags, and I don't want to fill my tag second day of the season. My goal was to fill my keg the last day of the season. So I've had plenty of close encounters and thrills and stuff, So at any rate, we'll be covering a whole slew of different. We've written several books on the subject, and some new ones, etc. And we'll be covering some of our secrets in the seminars we're going to be giving. Plus, we have a vendor's booth. We'll be there.
That's
so
going to be neat that they could come.
The attendees.
That's going to be nice. That's going to be nice that the attendees can come up and approach you all throughout the weekend, which is nice.
Learn some secrets finally.
Sure, and that's the idea behind it and stuff. Sometimes we get a little tired doing it day after day after day after day. But
that's been your life, though.
We're high mileage. That's it.
Yeah.
Now,
anyway, we're sure looking forward to it.
Do you focus most of your hunting efforts in Iowa? Is that where you pretty much hunt?
Oh no, that's where I pretty much hunt anymore because that's where I live.
Yeah.
But I remember one year I hunted whitetails in 8 different states. Everything from New England to Georgia to Alabama to Texas to Montana to the Midwest, Nebraska, all over the Midwest, etc. So it's not a regional thing where it'll work one place and not another place and so forth. So I'm not able to go as when you get old, you kind of run out of energy and you can only do so much. I used to hunt from light to dark, when I was younger and in my prime. Every day, day after day after day. And anymore, when you get old, just everything aches. I'm colder because of the medications and stuff we're on. I'm colder at 30 above than I used to be in Montana at 30 below. That's the thing. And I have to get up in the morning instead of hunting from light from dark to dark, hunt all day. I can now. I got to make my decision. Do I want to hunt in the morning or do I want to hunt in the afternoon, evening? Because I don't have enough energy to do both of them. So, but the young guys can do it. I don't know how old you guys are, but hopefully you can do it.
These 2 young guys we got here tonight can do it.
He proved he
What's that?
Yeah, we have Nate with us. Nate, tell Barry what you got here with you.
What'd you do, Nate, this past weekend?
This past week, I just shot my biggest buck to date. When I shot him, actually both sides fell off when I shot him. He shed both sides.
Yeah, got lucky. Wow.
Been there, done it. I got to tell you this one. About 50 years ago, I happened to be hunting in New Hampshire with one of the state fish and game commissioners, and he shot. I was bow hunting, but he shot up. I was walking with him, and a buck goes running from right to left, and he rolled it. And when the buck hit the ground, both antlers popped off. And I was citizen to rest. But anyway, it's that time of year.
Now, in all your travels, all
good one.
In all your travels, all your years of being out there, is there any place that is your favorite, or several places that you preferred, or some places that just blew you away? But
there's but in all honesty, it varies. From area to area. I lived in Montana for 30 years, and I had 10 species of big game that I was allowed to hunt had I got the right paperwork, etc. And I concentrated probably 95% of my hunting on the whitetails, etc. But again, I used to go to Alabama every year. The Alabama rut, the peak of the whitetail rut in southern Alabama is like today, right now, the last week or 2 of January. And of course, it was a lot better to do that. I'd much rather hunt, whitetails in Alabama in a peak of the rut on bare ground when it was 55 degrees than be at home in Montana and shoveling snow type thing. But Montana and Iowa are by far. And if I had to pick the one, I would take Iowa over Montana. But I think everything is in the timing, and I had good timing. I lived there when it was in its prime, and it's still good. But the guys that live there think it's good, but they have no clue how it used to be, type of thing, So at any rate, well, we'll talk about that, and I'll give some more opinions and so forth. So
yeah. We're glad you tuned in tonight and gave our listeners and fans a little update of what's going to go on this weekend.
Yeah, come on out and meet Barry and his brother at the Hunting and Fishing Super Show and Sale this weekend. And Barry, where can people find you? You on social media? You have websites or anything? Where can they find more information about you?
Believe it or not, I'm not. I'm on the road right now, but I was, we're kind of between. We got all kinds of stuff upcoming, etc. So right now the website's down. And I tell people I got an email account, and it's very simple, barrywenzel@hotmail.com. And if they email me, I got cards I can give out and so forth at the show. But if they email me, I might not get to it for a week or so. Like, I'm not going to get home until next Tuesday, I think it is. Oh, no, Tuesday or Wednesday. And then I got to leave again Thursday. So it's a busy time of year. But as I said, if I answer I open my emails every day that I'm home. So it's just a matter of we can converse that way and so forth. But right now, the website's down, and that's another thing on the list that we need to do.
All right. Well, sounds good, Barry. We will see you this weekend at the Hunting and Fishing Show at the Canfield Fairgrounds. Thanks for talking with us.
You're quite welcome. Looking forward to it. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. So Barry is the man, huh? I saw all you guys are shaking your head and,
I can't wait to talk to him.
Well, Iowa's got some giants. It's like one of the next to Ohio, or maybe even above Ohio. If you look up Boone and Crockett's, Iowa's way up there.
Yeah, see, I would have never guessed that.
Yeah,
I would have never guessed that. I would have thought Montana would have been like, oh, it's Montana, or
right.
But
Indiana and Illinois.
Yep.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah, that sounds good. So what else is going on? Sammy, what do you got planned for this summer and coming up, man? What's the walleye season looking like, or your tour, the tournament trail?
Well, we start, first off, I'm in a process of in between boats. So I'm hoping to get this one sold because I got my new one coming. But we start the third week of March. We go to Illinois River. We won that one 2 years ago. And then that's the Cabela's Master Walleye Circuit. Last year we finished fourth. Then we leave there and we go to Lake Erie second week of April. And then I'm all over the place.
Yeah, I want to come out there and do some jigging with you guys for the
on.
practice time.
That's
the way I like to catch them, man.
I
that's really fun.
Yep.
And how about you, Tyler and Nate? What do you guys got going on, man?
Just planning our next ice trip. That's about it.
Oh, you guys playing?
We're gonna go. We're gonna get local this week, I think. So
Try to get after some Pymatuming walleye.
yeah, that's what we're thinking.
Make sure you call me.
Uh-oh, Sammy's in too, man.
Oh, man.
Yeah, these are some guys that can catch some fish, that's for sure. So what else, what's your summer looking like, Ty? What do you got going?
United Way tournament this year is coming up, and they're revamping it this year. We're bringing the mixer dinner back, $50 side pot too. So the money's going to be probably better than ever for the tournament. Looking for a huge turnout. And today, Jack and a couple other of the members of United Way actually founded the Ohio Bass Fishing Hall of Fame today. And the inaugural members will be inducted at the mixer dinner. So pretty exciting stuff. And it's pretty cool that Jack and a couple other people founded something that we could recognize some of these guys. That Ohio's had a lot of great bass fishermen and a lot of great, really influential people in the sport. So really underrated. In Alabama, Texas, Florida, they all have a lot of their own bass fishing Hall of Fame too. So it was long overdue, and it's a pretty good project for Jack to work on. He's a great guy to go after something like that.
Yeah, that is really good. And that's coming up at the end of March or at the end of May.
I wish it was the end of March.
Or yeah, the end of May, right? Yeah, end of May. And you could, I'll have that posted like on the Y103 page and stuff too. You know, and me and Ty are the only father-son champions.
Yeah, we're the only father-son
Yeah.
that have won it.
We're gonna have to get on.
Yeah.
You guys won it last year?
Ty and
Me
Ty
and
did.
Destin won last year, and Nate actually got third. So
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. So, and I won it a few years ago. I was fishing with
Brad Wall.
Brad Wall. I'll tell you what, he had a good deal. He was the Hooters pro bass fisherman. Can you imagine having that gig? I'll tell you what, and me and Brad, we did really good. We had an excellent time. And I haven't fished the last couple of years, but I'll be back this year ready to go. It's the 25th anniversary, and I think I fished in all but one, maybe one or two.
Yeah, it's the 25th anniversary this year too. So they're really trying to revamp it and make
Yeah.
it one of the biggest and best ever. So if you fished in the past and haven't fished the last couple of years, you should really look into.
Yeah,
doing
like you
that
say,
this
we're
year.
bringing the dinner back, and then if we have this Hall of Fame induction, and
Yeah, there's a lot
it's
of
going to
stuff
be
going
great.
on this year.
Yeah. We're really going to blow it out for the 25th
And it's
anniversary.
just, for the price you pay, getting access to Evans and Pine for just a weekend of fishing, anyways, is well worth the cost. And then you get a tournament the following weekend, dinner, big bag of free lures, and
Oh,
Yep.
yeah, it's an
it's
awesome place to fish.
yeah,
And I'll tell you what, the competitors in that too are really top notch.
yeah.
I mean,
if you win, you earned it out there. That's
Oh,
for
that's
sure,
for
man.
sure.
It'll take 22-pound bags probably, and there's been 7-pounders weighed. That's probably one of the only tournaments that's had consistent 6 and 7-pounders weighed in every single year. A couple years ago too, they broke the Major League Fishing record for a bag. I think they had over 90 pounds in one day.
yeah, that was when they were doing the
Continuous.
just the big
And
the big
MLF
bag.
style.
Yeah. I remember that. I think those guys caught like 60 fish.
Yeah, 60 fish. It was Dave Williams, actually.
Yeah. Dave Williams, they caught 60
Could
fish.
be on the inductees list for the Hall of Fame.
Oh,
Dave's
that-
been around for
that's
a
right
long
up
time.
there.
I know me and Nate have seen him since day one.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, and I'll tell you what, that we have so many good bass fishermen around here, and I'll tell you what, you win that tournament, you're doing something, because
If you win any tournament in this area, man, you really know what you're doing. Mosquito Lake, there's not many secrets left out there, and it's a small lake. All our lakes are small. All our guys know each other. Everybody talks. Forward-facing sonar. It's all everything just combined into one. And
Fish is a lot smaller.
yeah, fish is a lot smaller. Fishing's a lot tougher. I think fish are now more conditioned than they've ever been too with forward-facing sonar.
And you know, it's something we were talking about earlier, and I meant to jump in on that. We were talking about the sonar and stuff, and you're talking about when these fish want to bite, they're going to bite. And by the same token, though, if they don't want to bite, they are not going to bite. I don't care what sonar, what you have, what lure you have, what bait you have. You can put it right in front of them, and if they don't want it, that's the crazy thing too about this whole sonar and everything that I find amazing too. Is like you'll see them come right up to it and look at it and just turn away, or something doesn't look right, or you'll play them all the way up, and if they don't want it, they're not going to bite.
These fish see a lot of lures.
Yeah, and when you're trolling or just casting blind, how many fish did you really cast by, or how many baits? But now, like I said, you could just keep, picking on that one fish, and we're allowed to use live bait in the walleye tournament. Bass guys, they're not allowed all artificial, but you throw a nice juicy night crawler out there to that walleye and just keep dropping it on his head, he's going to eat it. I mean, 90% of the time, if we see a fish, we're going to catch it with the forward facing sonar. That's how good it is, because you could just stay on them and just keep harassing them pretty much, and they end up biting like a dog.
And what's amazing about that too is you don't waste as much time anymore finding them, because if it's amazing. We even before Ty was in that, there were some areas we would fish because we thought it was good. You see some lay downs or drop offs, or there might be a channel coming through there or something. You think, boy, this looks good, and then maybe you go back now with a scope and it's like there's nothing there. There's just nothing there. How many times you pull up on a spot and you look and it's like, There's no fish here. There's not a fish.
And you watch you guys on forward facing sonar, you're standing with your rod most of the time, just looking around at your graph. Everybody's bent over looking at their graph. You don't even pay attention to your surroundings. You look up and you're like, holy crap, there's a boat 10 feet away from you. I've never even seen them, because you're so focused on that screen and waiting for a fish that you want to catch. And most of the time you're just, standing there with your rod. I mean, like in the NWT, the guy, John Hoyer, won it, and he said he casted at like 12 fish all day. And, he didn't cast out a fish until he wanted it. We were trolling right by him, the same area, and he was just picking out fish. We were going through 40 fish to try to even compete.
Yeah.
And, he was just catching 8, 10 fish a day and, knew which ones. I mean, he could tell you his co-angler. I remember the story. They said his co-angler was in the back of the boat and seen a fish off to the left, and he casted that, and he looked over his shoulder and said, "Don't even bother. It's a 24-incher." And he caught it. It was a 24-incher. They don't even want to be wasted with, waste any time catching fish that they're not going to weigh. And that's probably how these guys are too.
On Erie especially.
Yeah, there's times we'll pull up the spots and pan over, it's pan optics, and if we don't see fish on it, we won't even cast. We'll start the boat up and go to the next spot.
If they're there, you'll definitely see them.
That saves a lot of time.
Even when we didn't have any fish in the hole in Erie, we'd bump it out to 60, 70 feet. We'd just look around and they're everywhere.
Yeah, we'd see 10, 20 fish, and we'd say, all right, they're still here.
They're still here, so keep fishing. I mean, that's just something you have no idea about.
Yeah.
And then it's like the one we saw on the bottom, too, we panned out to like 40 or 50, and it just was slow working its way in. And like 3 or 4 minutes goes by, and then sure enough, like here comes that mark we saw like 5 minutes ago that was just slow working its way in.
It's amazing.
He just tracked it from that far.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is very cool. Hey, here's one that's been floating around out there, and I know Ty has commented on this on several pages. All right, we just had a state record crappie, and it was caught in a farm pond.
Right.
Should we allow a farm pond and private lake fish to be counted for the state record?
Yeah, I think you should.
I'm going to say no.
Say a fish is a fish.
A fish.
I'm going to say no because it doesn't do justice for our state operated waters. If somebody catches a 21-inch crappie out of Mosquito, that should be the state record because that was a state funded lake where our money went into it. And that represents our lakes. If he catches a 7-pounder out of Mosquito or an 8-pounder, it's not going to be a state record because in 1970, somebody grew a 13-pounder in their pond. We'll never be able to see that again. Pennsylvania doesn't honor public or private water fish, and I think Ohio should probably follow suit and do the same thing.
Pennsylvania's fish program's
a lot better, I
100
think.
years behind Ohio.
I'm gonna say
Maybe
it's
honey,
better
but-
in certain ways.
I'll
They
tell you.
manage their bass a lot better than we manage our bass. I'm gonna say.
The reason they got good bass
And
fish
walleye.
And walleye. Their regulations are a lot stricter. And if,
wait a minute. Let me tell you something.
Here we go.
All right.
Opened up a can.
Yeah, we did.
Here you go.
All right, you got Pennsylvania, okay, and you got how much shoreline do you have on Lake Erie and PA?
I have no idea.
Not much.
Not much
30 mile.
between there and
Yeah.
But you know where the
Erie and-
state record walleye came for PA and New York? And PA has shoreline in New York.
Out of Allegheny River.
I know.
One of them or two of them. The last one's out of the
Well,
Allegheny.
both of those
River.
walleye, this PA state record and the New York state record are like a pound or 2 pounds bigger than Ohio state record.
Yeah.
And we got all the shoreline for Lake Erie, but both of theirs came out of Kinzoo.
Wow.
The last state record come out of Pennsylvania, come out of Allegheny River, just a little bit south of Pittsburgh is the last record.
That's a good one to know. But here's the thing. If you have a farm pond, you could keep that crappie in there. How do you know what? Every time you catch it, you throw it back in and it just keeps going. You got that one bass that's sitting
if
in
you want
there.
to do 2 separate categories, that's
Yeah.
fine too.
Yeah.
I just think just giving the sole record to a farm pond fish.
I
I saw
don't
that
really
the
care.
previous record was like a 20-incher or something. Like that's an awesome fish to get broken. On a
And
record
how does
like that.
and it should be where everybody has a shot to break the record.
What's the,
if that's a
record
private
walleye, Sammy?
Exactly.
if that's a
16
private if it's a
16
private spot,
agree.
if it's a private lake, I don't have a chance to go out there and break the record. He doesn't have a chance to
Somebody went
break the
in-
record.
If somebody went and caught a muskie, it weighed 69 pounds, 12 ounces, which would be a world record. and it was caught in a private waterway, do you think it should be honored?
No,
You don't think it should
No.
be the
No.
world
no,
record?
because I don't have
You
a
don't
chance
think
to go
should be
get
the
it.
world record?
I don't have a chance. Yeah, I don't have a chance to go get it. And like I say, they could practically raise that thing in there like a zoo.
Yeah, they could cage it. They could
Yeah.
park it full of stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
So does Pennsylvania have a possession limit on their fish?
Yes.
So every state that I fish, like Minnesota, you could go up there for 10 days. You're allowed to bring one walleye home.
Oh, wow.
South
Does it
Dakota, you're
generally have
one limit.
One day limit is one fish?
No, it's one you could bring home. No, it's 6. You could catch 6 fish a day, but you're only allowed to bring one home. Wisconsin, you're allowed to bring one bag limit home. But here, we don't have a possession limit. So, a lot of guys
Yes,
from
we
out of
do have a possession.
we
limit.
don't.
We got a 2-day possession limit.
No, we don't.
The law says you're allowed 2 days possession.
I wish it did. but it
is-
doesn't.
That's the law.
I don't. Yeah,
Ooh.
everybody in Put-in Bay was keeping a bunch of fillets too, the
Well,
same
they
way.
do it.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
break
they
the
regulate that. They break a lot of guys. It's just the way it is.
Better.
law. We got a 2-day
I-
possession limit, I'm telling you. But
I hope you're
It's-
right, because
it's not enforced. It is
Yeah,
not,
sure.
they're not gonna. go in
I
your
was gonna
house
say
and
that
make
too.
you-
Uh,
They don't enforce none of them laws in Ohio.
As far as fishing regulations go, I think I've been checked maybe 20 to 30 times in my life in Pennsylvania. I've never had a fishing license checked in the state of Ohio.
3
Once.
times in my life.
Once for me.
In
Never
Ohio.
once.
in Ohio.
You know how
Never
much-
once. I fish a Mosquito Lake. How many times? I could have 50 bass in my live well. I've
Wait a minute.
never been checked
Wait.
once.
I've
Okay,
had my
let's-
boat
let's
checked
answer the
in
question
Mosquito,
why
but
now.
I've never had
You
a
know why?
All right.
license.
We got 88 counties in the state of Ohio. We got one wildlife officer per county.
Mhm.
There you go.
What chances he got of going?
I
out?
know
I get checked on Erie. And they'll check you by boat. They'll come over and have
Yeah.
you hold up your
Yeah.
license.
Yeah.
Erie was
They
where
look
We had the
keep an
Coast
eye on
Guard
it.
check.
Yeah,
us
we got
out.
checked by the Coast Guard, but we've never been checked by Fish Commission.
Yeah, I got checked by Fish Commission up there.
They got a lot more fish wardens over in Pennsylvania, and we got.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
wardens in Ohio.
they patrol too.
They'll check you
They-
2 or 3 times a day.
Pennsylvania is not the place to try to keep an
Yeah, you get
undersized
different-
property.
They got a lot more fish wardens there.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, they
And
do.
They patrol
Yeah.
daily too.
Yes.
I've been checked by the same guy on Shenango multiple times.
Pymatiming alone, you'll see
Yeah.
5 or 6 trucks driving around.
I wish
But you
they
know
would,
what? I don't mind them checking people because there's a lot of people out there that need to be
Yep.
checked.
Yep.
There are some people out there that really, with crappies and stuff that really nothing makes me more angry than that.
Yep.
We're all out there. We all fish. We all hunt by the rules. And then you get these guys that are poachers or keeping way too many fish. Nothing pisses me off more than that.
Yep, I agree.
Wait a minute. You know why Pennsylvania can do all the things that they do?
Mhm.
First of all, they sell 1 million hunting licenses a year.
And
Ohio charges double.
Two
what
hundred
PA does,
40,000. All right. Pennsylvania got lumber and resources. They got well over 1 million acres that they can take all these resources off and sell. We don't have it in Ohio. We can't go and go on Ohio lands and take the oil off of it and give it to the Division of Wildlife. That don't happen. It goes to the state fund. So we don't have the money that Pennsylvania got. Pennsylvania got a ton of money.
Yeah, they're Commonwealth state.
Yeah,
I'll tell you
it,
what, though.
it
Well, we-
seems like I will
Ohio
say,
charges
Like for me to
double
go to
what
South
PA
Dakota,
does.
I pay $100 for a license. Wisconsin's 80 some. Pennsylvania, I don't even know how much it is. I think it's an arm and a leg.
No,
But
that's
it's
65.
It's 40 bucks for
70 something.
everybody here for a whole year. And you get, if you buy it in January, go a whole year from January. I
and
think
it's
our
date to
license
date
is way
in
too cheap for
Ohio now.
non-resident.
All of our
too.
licenses are
Oh,
way
date
too
to date
cheap.
now?
I agree.
Yeah, they're doing date to date in Ohio
Yeah.
unlicensed now. PA
But it could
is
be-
still just calendar
Yeah,
year to
yeah.
calendar year.
We're
but
going date to date.
if
here
you
in
want to buy a
Ohio.
license in November or something,
Yeah,
then you have to
non-resident.
rebuy
Yeah,
another-
non-resident. If we end up
Not
going
in
out
Ohio,
in
it's date to
December,
date now.
Yeah.
done.
But it should be like, if I pay $80 to go to PA for a fishing license, that's what they should pay to come to Ohio. If I pay $100 in South Dakota, just let the guy that's,
We should have that
We
reciprocal.
should.
We should have. it.
out of state, when we go out of state fishing, they charge non-residents $10 a day to launch your boat.
You know, bass season.
Look how much money we're leaving on the table there.
Wow.
and bass season in PA
You're
doesn't
right.
open
You're
until
right.
June
need it.
15th.
Imagine what they did. They got that big park at Lakeshore up at Ashtabula. We have no good boat ramps there. They need to build a nice boat
Asheville
ramp.
got the worst doggone
I
ramp.
know, but I mean, it's there's so they get so
Lakeshore
many
Park
people
is
there.
the worst.
You-
Fills
you
in the
would think they
stand
would
by
build a ramp.
July every
I'm
year.
hoping I'm hoping where they tore down hot.
We're doing a lot of
the
calling
bubble.
out on this show.
That's what gets. Hey, that's what gets people fired.
I think I'm gonna get my fishing license checked.
We're going way off the track on this.
Why
Why
we
we
argue?
We're like, this ain't.
But I think when they're tearing the power plant down up there, where we used to call it the bubble,
Yeah, we
They're
used to go
claim-
to Bubble.
I wonder if they're going to do something there. You know,
They
build
should
a
do
ramp or
something.
something. It'd be a perfect spot.
Yeah.
They ain't doing nothing. What
Hey,
are
I'll
they?
tell you what, one of the funniest things that we have ever seen at the Ashtabula boat ramp, Amish humor, right? These guys got somebody, their buddies went out, they got their trailer and pushed it over on its side. So these guys come back and their trailer was on the side. Funniest thing you ever seen, man. It's just like they were building a barn. They'll just come over there, flipped over the trailer.
Flip the trailer.
Who flipped it over?
These Amish guys, yeah.
It was just unhooked laying
Yeah.
there in the parking lot.
On its side. That was the funniest thing I've ever seen.
I seen going down Route 11, Amish van towing 3 boats. I've seen 2, but I've seen
I
3.
seen Climate Timmy with two boats.
3 boats on Route 11, man. I was like, wow.
Hey, what do you think
Right
about?
now, like this.
Hey, what do you think about this? You go up to Asheville. You're going out the river to go fishing, and you look over, and there's an Amish guy, probably in his mid 50s, 60s, and he's driving a 30-foot boat. And he's got 6 Amish in the back of it. What do you think's going on there?
I don't know.
We don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Amish charter?
Yeah, Amish charter.
But
What do you
they're not
think?
registered, and they're not, and they don't.
Hey, you know,
And the Amish don't believe in that regulation stuff. They don't believe in.
So if they get checked, they don't get fined?
They ain't gonna get checked because everybody just keeps their mouth shut. When they go to check them on the boat, they'll say, "No, I didn't pay him no money."
I mean, as far as your possession limit, I mean, their limit for the day, they get checked for that?
They're allowed. They get their limit. There's
Yeah.
6
Right.
fish per, you know. But
Yep.
there's a lot of that going on in Ohio, and Ohio knows it's going on, but they can't get anything done about it because the Amish stick together and they ain't gonna tell on each.
Hey, listen, Naples and I were fishing in December up at Conneaut for walleye. We came inside the breakwall. It's 3:00 in the morning. We're taking pictures of our fish and weighing them and stuff. We go in and put our boat on the trailer, and headlights turn on. 2 guys got out of the truck, 2 game warrants, and they knew who I was, and they come
Yeah.
over and start talking to us.
Well,
and
that's what
you want to
this
check our
was.
fish? And they're like, "Oh, we already watched you take pictures. We know exactly." 3:00 in the morning, they were watching us through binoculars, checking
When a
our
game
weighing our
warden
fish. and stuff.
approaches you
Mhm.
and asks to see your license and starts asking you questions.
yeah,
Believe me when I tell you, he already knows the answer before he asks the question.
Yeah.
So just tell
So
them
you
about
try
it.
to lie and get out of something, you're just digging
Yeah.
a hole deep.
Yeah, I'm happy we got them. I wish we
Yeah,
had
I do
more.
too.
They do.
There's
They
too
do
many
a good
people out there
job.
taking advantage of it.
Yep.
And,
Now,
and that,
you want to hear a funny story?
all right, one more funny story, and we're going to wrap it up.
Okay.
All right.
There's a
It's,
guy-
this got to be funny. Let me ask you this before you start. Is it going to be funnier than the Amish guy with the boat on its side? Is it? Think about this before you even go into this.
That's
You
pretty
think
fun. This is
you
pretty
think
fun.
you think you got it? All right, we're going to let
There
you
was 2
go.
Amish guys that were logging. They were logging an area, and that loggers, Amish guys, they got chainsaws. So this Amish guy, he's logging this area, and he's getting chainsaw steals. So they go in every night about 10, 11 o'clock, and they're shining a light on his equipment and everything. Well, the guy that lived there thought they was spotting deer. So he calls the game warden. And the game warden says, "We'll be there tomorrow night." He's there every night at 10 o'clock. He said, "We'll be there." So they hide in their truck, and here comes these 2 Amish guys in the truck. They don't even have a license to drive. They're using somebody's truck. And they pull up there and they start shining, and the game wardens jump on. Get out of the car! Get on your belly! They got these guys spread equal over all the thing, thinking they got some guys shot a deer, and here it was 2 Amish guys checking on to see if somebody was stealing their chainsaws and that. The game wardens called me up and said, Jesus Christ, you want to talk about being embarrassed? He said, we got these guys spread equal on the ground. They're Amish, they're scared to death. They're scared to death.
No driving license.
No driving license. Somebody else truck that they're driving.
Oh, there
I
we
happened
go.
to talk to the 2 Amish guys
Oh,
that
wow.
it happened to. They said, Rick, we were so scared. They had guns out and everything, you know. All right.
Not a bad one. All right,
Thank
listen.
you. Thank you very much.
We have got the big hunting and fishing super show and sale coming up this weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Canfield Fairgrounds. You can't miss it.
Only
and
$10 to get in.
10
Kids under 12 free.
Saturday, first 100 kids get a free prize at the door.
Yeah.
I'll be there. Sammy Capelli, national walleye champ, will be there. Nathan Jacoby, Tyler Woak will be hanging out, and
Jason Henniger.
Jason will be there.
Phil Report.
he'll be there as
Jason's,
well.
Jason's one of our best turkey hunters.
Yep. We didn't even start talking about turkey. We'll have to do
Doing
that next
seminar?
time. But anyways, thanks guys, and let's so far we've been having a great season with hunting and fishing, and this is just January, and we're already
We're
like,
excited about this, Fred. You do a great job for us, Fred. You
well,
do.
we're gonna have some fun.
We're-
Sammy's got a boat for sale.
My wife and Sammy worked very, very hard at putting a seminar schedule together.
They got it tough this year.
And they got a good one.
Sammy's like Donnie Baker from the Bob and Tom show when he was still alive. He's got a boat for sale.
Yeah, he's
Want
gonna
to buy
sell
my
that
boat? Swear to God.
Swear to God, I got a boat for sale.
Well, he don't. He,
Me and Angel
Hey,
Skinner used to go out on that boat.
He hasn't made any profit for the last year's season until he sells that boat. You know.
Yeah, right.
Big
But it's
profit
laid
check.
out, it's set up, it's champion
It's
style
all in
fishing.
that
So
boat.
if you're a serious fisherman, and that's a boat you want to get. Ty got a boat for sale too. You still up for sale, or you hanging?
I'm hanging on for this year, but at
Oh,
the end of
okay.
the season,
And-
it'll be up for sale at the end of the season.
End of the season, Ty will have a boat too. So all right. Well, listen, guys, thanks for coming out. And I can't wait to hang out this weekend with everybody. It'll be great to see everybody. And like I say, here it is. It's only January already, and we've got all these great success stories and people getting bucks and people catching fish. And
It's awesome.
yeah, it is, man.
awesome.
It is. All right. Thanks, guys. Thanks to Joe Danier, our producer tonight, as always. And we'll see you tomorrow on Y103, and we'll see you this weekend out at the hunting and fishing show.
All right. Yeah.
Thank you for listening to this show on Youngstown Studio. This is original Youngstown content. Feel free to share our videos and tell your friends about us. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Facebook. Thank you for your